Have you ever tried time blocking? Did you use it for a while and gave up on it? Do you think it's not really something that's working for you? Or maybe you just want to try it and you just don't know how to do that. If any of those are the reasons why you clicked on this video, you are in the right place. Today I'm going to share with you 5 different ways on how you can incorporate time blocking into your everyday life as a working mom. If you are new here, hi, my name is Marta. I am a full-time working mom of 2, and on my channel I share videos about time and house management, because I think with those 2 things we can really find the life balance that we want. So before we get started, make sure that you subscribe down below. It's completely free, it just helps me grow my channel, and if you are coming back, welcome back. So first, let's talk about what time blocking is, because I think for me, I had a huge misconception about what it was. So I used to think that time blocking was basically blocking a specific amount of time each day for a specific task. And it's partially true, because I think I was envisioning that as, from 9 till 10, I'm gonna be answering phone calls. From 10 to 1, I will be in a meeting. Like, I really had this idea of dividing my day into specific hour by hour time blocks. And while that is the case for some people thrive on such time blocking schedule. For me personally, it's too rigid, and that's why I kind of gave up on it along the way few times in the past. So what I switched, and what's my number 1 tip or number 1 way how you can use time blocking as a working mom, is to divide your day into blocks. For a lot of working moms, it's going to be basically 3 blocks: the morning block, the work block, and after work block. Now, this is how I divide during the week, so my working days, right? In the morning, in my morning block, this is where I do my miracle morning routine. This is where I exercise, this is where I, pray, this is where I read personal development book, do affirmations, sometimes I do meditation. It's all of that is happening in the morning. That is what my morning block is for. So I know when I wake up, those are the things I will be doing. During work block, clearly that's when I work. So this is not when I'm gonna be cooking dinner. This is not when I'm gonna do my workout. This is basically the time when I dedicate to do my job. So anything job related, that's the block I try to fit it in. And that really helps me to get rid of any distractions from my laptop, from my personal things, because I know that I really want to do something else when I get off from work. So I really try to stay concentrated in my work block. And lastly, in the evening block, this is when a lot of things are happening. This is when you have your after school activities. This is when you have homework with kids. This is when you cook dinner. This is when you have your bedtime routine. All that is cramped into that evening block. And then again, depending on your specific situation, this is when you can also divide your evening block into 2. You might divide your block into all the things I just described, and maybe in the evening you also have a side business when you like to dedicate some time to that. Maybe you are working a job that really requires you to dedicate some time to it, even after working hours. And that's when you're gonna have that dedicated time. So really see how you wanna divide your days to make sure that they fit your lifestyle, and also that they fit the time that you are in right now. The second way you can use time blocking is on the weekends. So I just described to you how I divide my work days. Now on the weekend, obviously that huge chunk of my day that was dedicated to work is gone. I don't work on the weekends. So now I can dedicate that time to something else. So this is where I am definitely more flexible. I don't have to have specific, time like before work. So for example, I start working at 6 o'clock, so I know before 6 I have to finish with my morning routine. On the weekends, I have much more freedom into how I divide my days. So I don't have to say, for example, if one of my blocks is cleaning block, I don't have to say it's gonna be between, 9 and 11. I have full flexibility how I wanna do it, so I typically decide the day off or the day before how I will really play it out. So I know for me on the weekends, I like to clean, I like to food prep, I like to go grocery shopping, all those things, and then I can figure out what's gonna work best for me, because maybe we do have a commitment that we have to do on the weekend. Maybe our kids are planning a game that we want to go and attend. Maybe there is a family gathering. Whatever that is, that's gonna drive my other blocks. That's how I'm gonna decide when I'm gonna do things so it works for me. So that's where my time blocks might be different from one weekend to another. And they're also gonna be different between Saturday and Sundays because I just decide to do different things. Maybe on Sunday I'm gonna have a block where I like to organize some things in my house. But on Saturday, that's where I do mostly like deep cleaning and things of that nature. Also on the weekends, you definitely want to spend time with your family because during the week, we are all so busy. It's hard to find that block of time or, where you can spend a longer amount of time with your kids, with your spouse, with your extended family. So that's what weekends are for. So make sure you have some time for that. Make sure you have a dedicated time for your self-care. So maybe you're gonna get into a routine where, for example, for you, Sunday morning is when you do your self-care. Maybe that's when you get your nails done, maybe that's when you take a bath, maybe that's when you just sit and read a book and drink a cup of coffee. Whatever that is, having those routines, having those blocks of time, that's gonna help you really with that balance between work and life. The third way that you can use time blocking as a working mom is specifically for your job. So when you are at work, you can be more specific with your time blocks. This is when you actually can dedicate specific amount of time to work on a specific project. Or maybe you are at the type of work where you have a lot of meetings. Maybe try to have, let's say, the morning dedicated to meetings and afternoon dedicated to actual work. Or vice versa, depending on what is working for you and for the people, obviously, that you work with. This is also the time when you can, if your lunch is very predictable, that's when you can dedicate that time block. Maybe you want to eat and do some self-care. Maybe that's when you eat and read a book. Maybe that's when you eat and run some errands. Maybe lunchtime is when you decide that you need to run some errands. Maybe you dedicate your time at lunchtime to work on your side business or your hobby when you eat at the same time. So again, depending on how your work is structured. For me, I don't really have a specific time for lunch. It really depends on the meetings. So I never block my time for at lunch to do anything because it's too variable and I feel like it's just waste of my time to plan something for lunch. But maybe for you, maybe that's something that's very predictable and maybe that's something that you can dedicate to some other things. So the fourth way how you can use time blocking as a working mom, that's gonna basically make it the best way possible. Use both time blocking and batching. Use both of them at the same time. So what I mean by that is, like I said before, on the weekends I like to clean, I like to food prep. Anything related to cleaning, I like to batch it into a bigger period of time. So maybe when I start, I know, okay, for the next 2 hours, all I will do is anything related to cleaning. And I keep working on it for that specific period of time. Same thing with food prep. I just concentrate on the food prep. Anything I need to do for the food prep is gonna be in that period of time. That's usually for me Sunday, early Sunday afternoon. So I know that when this is the time when I'm gonna do anything related to food. What that's helping me do is concentrating on one type of activity for a period of time. And it makes it so much more efficient and it makes it so much more effective when I do it that way versus trying to clean and cook at the same time, or trying to cook and scheduling appointments with my kids' doctors or scheduling appointments for their after school activities. Anytime I try to mix and match things like that, it's usually taking me so much longer to do. You would think it would be quicker, but I have tried it many times and every time it fails miserably. So that's when I really highly recommend trying out that batching and time blocking at the same time for the best results possible. That system of batching and time blocking at the same time also works great at your job. So I have found anytime I'm working on a project that requires me to contact a lot of people, whether that is through a phone call or email, I just batch it all at once and I say, okay, for the next hour, all I'm gonna do is send those emails or make those phone calls. And because I'm already in that mindset, this is what I'm doing, it goes so much faster. I don't have to switch, I'm gonna make 2 phone calls, then I'm gonna attend the meeting, then I'm gonna write an email, and then I'm gonna go back to phone calls. Because every time you have to switch that mindset, it takes you some time to get back. Okay, this is what I need to talk about. Those are the points I wanna make sure I cover. But if you keep doing the same thing over and over for that period of time, it's gonna be much more productive and much more efficient. And the last tip I have for you on how to use time blocking as a working mom is to incorporate time blocking into your planner. If you are already using a planner, use time blocking to your advantage and mark it in your planner. For me, I use Erin Condren's planner. I use the vertical setup in a life planner. So I don't divide, like I said before, I don't divide it hour by hour. If you have planner like that and hour by hour time blocking is something that you want to try, absolutely go for it, because I know a lot of people like that. But for me, I basically use my planner to divide it into those categories I mentioned before. A category of household, a category of work, and a category for my side business. And on a weekend, I switch work for things like family time and self-care. So what I do with that is I know that anytime I have a block of time for work, which is basically the whole time I'm at work, those are the things I'm going to put on the list of what I want to do. And then I try to group them together as well. That's when the batching is coming in. Batch the similar types of tasks together during that specific time block. For home, that's the same thing. That's when I plan anything related to household. So I know that anything I put in there, that's gonna be done after I'm done with my work. I don't have any time before work because I start so early, and like I said, my morning block is basically my miracle morning routine. So it's not something I put in my planner because I do the same thing every single day, so it's a habit. But anything I do in the afternoons, that's when anything like that is gonna go. Any tasks related to my home, it's gonna go into the category of household. And then again, anything for my side business is gonna go to that category. And that's usually something I do on the weekends when I dedicate specific block of time, which is usually very early in the morning until my kids wake up. That's when I do my side business work. So this is how it helps me organize, because I know, okay, now I have time to dedicate to my side business. I can look what I have to do in my planner. Same thing with household. Whenever I get to the weekends, when majority of my household chores are getting done, I know that those are the things I wanted to address, and then I can dedicate specific time to accomplish them. So that is all I have for you in this video. I hope you found it helpful, because like I said before, I know that for me, time blocking, I just viewed it as there is just one way to do it, and I tried it a few times and it didn't work for me. But now I realize there is few different ways to use time blocking to your advantage, so you are actually being more productive and more efficient at the task that you have to complete as a working mom. So I hope you found some ideas for yourself. Let me know if you used time blocking before, if you have ever tried it, and how successful were you with it before. I am really curious to see how you use time blocking, or how you plan to use time blocking moving on to your advantage. Make sure that you like this video, make sure that you are subscribed, and I will see you next time. Thank you so much for watching.